Okay. All right, everything's still working. Everything's still working. Okie dokie. I thought I would start a few minutes early, just because I could. I don't know. I'm trying. Okie dokie. All right. So I thought I would start a few minutes early. So let's talk about some news. Let's talk about Natamon. That guy's coming tonight for Digimon New Century. So those in the Chinese area, if you're playing the game, this guy's coming along. I'm very much looking. He's a very cool Digimon. I like the like a little bit of thrusters. His spears. I thought he also had a hammer as well. So we'll see about that. His headwork looks pretty cool. I think I've read his official profile, but we'll see. I think this guy's gonna be a cool guy. But there's actually some more related news to him. So I was shown DNC Codex mentioned that Renamon, the fish girl, she is getting a new mega form. She's got a new mega form, which means I'm wondering if my boy Mercurymon, maybe Arbormon, and maybe even Grumblemon. But Renamon, I love Renamon. She's a cool girl. I love her design. But yeah, she's the Taiji. I wonder what this is. Let me look that up. Okay, military general. Okay. I know I'm looking at military. So interesting. I'm very curious to what they'll be. But yeah, they're giving us some new Digimon New Century love. I'm very happy about that. So there's that. Also coming to Digimon New Century is Ophanimon Fallen Mode X. So we have this official artwork. This is a lot more sexier version. Like if we look at the older version, we see the official artwork. This is a very much battleized version. Like I'm gonna rip your head off sort of thing. So I do appreciate that. She is very cool looking. And I like the design. This is very cool. But Digimon New Century definitely offers a bit of a different new perspective. We see that she's a lot sexier. Like she's definitely evil. Don't get me wrong, but you can definitely tell that she's a mean, nasty woman. Like I'm going to step on you. And we actually get to see her feet. It's like they're definitely very kind of robotic, demonic. It's a bit interesting. What else? But yeah, I like the new smile and the wavy blonde hair. Just it gives her menacing, but also maybe a little bit kinder. And their scythe is dual wielding, which is kind of interesting. So I like this a lot. What about her? This also showed it, but it wasn't as clear. I guess it was just one particular angle, but now we have a dual angle from it, which looks really cool. I'm curious to see a video of this as well. Natamon's pretty cool. What else can we do? See what other images. Nothing else. Oh, I do want to discuss the novel a little bit. So I'm curious to what if you're predicting who's going to be here tonight. I didn't realize this is actually a legit character. I thought this would just be kind of like a background, but I think this is an actual person, because if you go to characters, we go to relationship chart. I think not that one. We can go to relationship chart here. So we know Zenith is part of it. We know two of the other characters, and then we know I think the brother sister duo, or maybe the couple duo. But then there's this mysterious character. I think these are the humans, and this is the NPC, I believe. But I think this is going to be that silver-haired girl, and I think this is the blue-haired girl. So going a bit forward. Oh, whoops. A little too. But I think this is going to be the one in the bottom, and then this is going to be the girl up at top. Oh, and I want to just go to novel. So there is that. I don't think we're going to see them quite yet, because I think we would get some hints about their partner. We might see Zenith. I think there's a good possibility we'll see Zenith's Destromon and even Galacticmon, which I forget what Destromon's English name is. Hold on, Japanese name. What is his name? Oh, Juggernauton. So he's just called Destromon. Interesting. I bet a lot of people think it's Destroymon, but it's like, nope. And then we have Ragnamon or Galacticmon. I like the name Galacticmon. Ragnamon's like, oh, that just seems a bit I don't know. Galacticmon, he's just a giant big thing. He's also cyborg as well, but he's unknown. Oh, original Digimon reference profile. Okay, cool. I don't think there's anything else to say with that, but I am definitely looking forward. See if there's any other images for. Oh, it seems that she'll have a dragonic form. Oh, that's kind of cool. So, waifu plus dragon form. Interesting. I definitely dig that. That should be very fun and exciting. I mean, I'm super excited. Because if this is the case, then we're gonna get some new, what is it? Legend. I think it's not Legends. More hybrid Digimon. Speaking of which, let's go to. Let me see if Renamon is in Digimon New Century. I don't think she is. What is it? Oh, from Digimon. Oh, there she is. Okay, she's in the reboot. Oh, she was in Digimon New Century. Okay. Interesting. So they definitely had a placeholder. What did she Digivolve from in Digimon? Digimon New Century. Oh, Shakomon. I don't like Shakomon. I mean, I get why they do it, because it's a female Digimon, but I don't know. I kind of preferred Gizamon a little bit better, given what is it? Given that this is an amphibian, but I guess not. All right. So I think this becomes a Digimon New Century. Then does this just go straight into ancient? But yeah, that's artwork works. And then it goes to Ancient Mermaidmon. Okay, so they don't have Mermaidmon in it, so it'll just be like that. That's okay artwork, I guess. What did they do for? I have the card. Oh no, I don't know. I don't have the second version. I don't. This is the one I have. Ancient Mermaidmon's not bad. I'm just like, okay. I am super excited for it. I think in my card collection, I think I have it with Shakomon, I think. Not Shakomon. What is it? Or if I look it up. I got some cards yesterday. I got some Nidogmon cards. Where is the? So I put her next to Maelstrom. Oh, I did. I had Sangomon be the case, so that kind of works. All right. So I might do the new line. Actually, there's one thing I wanted to check for my card art. All right. I think those do have some official. I think they've checking some weaponry. I think I put the special move somewhere else. I believe. Okay, that's Full Metal Blaze. No, okay. No. All right, just 7 more minutes. I guess I can turn off my add-on themes because I might use whatever Digimon card dev. I'll give them the support. I want to check one thing for BT4. No, they don't have a signature. Okay, it's not there. I think I'm gonna also collect all the Victory Greymon and Zed Garurumon cards. I think. I should have bought them last time. That's actually pretty cool. Hold on. I'm wondering. Go Digimon card.dev. See how much they are. Let's start it. What is it? Non-Trigonic Award. Do they not have it? Alright, hold on. What is BT Force? Oh wow, that is significant. That's pretty cheap. Okay, and then. Oh, that's even more, a little more expensive. Maybe. I'll consider it. All right. Any more updates? Nope. Digimon New Century is definitely hitting off with stuff. What else can we talk about before we begin? I still haven't watched all the anime for today. I still have one more. I'll probably watch it later. Actually, I'm going to go get a pillow for my butt. That's much better. 3 more minutes. Actually, let's see. Is he in the game? Is he in the game? I don't think he is. No. What about Grumblemon? No, and then Arbormon. Nope, he's not. What about Duskmon? He's not in there. Actually, I want to go to the New Century. Let's go to... Actually... Who of the... forget who of the groups in there. Flaremon. Okay, I knew that. Okay, I knew that was kind of obvious. Did I make Nene? Did... I think he's just there to be there, I think. Yeah, okay. Alright, and then there's also, I think... Who's the other idiot? Is Strawberrymon not in here? No, Strawberrymon's not in here. Huh, interesting. Because I know Lobomon is here. I think Lobomon is Fairymon. Like, actually, who does this guy digivolve into in the Digimon New Century? No. It's just a Vile Bracelet. I think Archinmon. Oh, she's not. Okay, sure. I'm not going to bother with that. Oh, it's time. It is time for the read-through. Oh, okay. Tyrannomon Mega. Oh boy. Oh, this is what we've been waiting for, folks. Room isn't the right word for the place. It is said to have walls. But no matter how hard one squints, it just seems stretched out endlessly like a white sea. Floating all around are boxes. Some are large, some small. And there at the center is an artificial structure resembling the D-storage, except colossal, called Avalon. If the tales are to be believed, it is a paradise where the lost will find release. This is the Garden, a top secret location believed to exist within the EGG, inaccessible only to debuggers, and it's where their duties are assigned. It's sort of like a physical version of the software blackened this virtual world's backyard. And here in the backyard stand 2 people, their partner. Yuki, a girl with an oversized white coat alongside her. Itmon, and a little devil type. And Ryoto Williams dressed in a fancy black jersey, military pants, and a red cape alongside his dinosaur-type Digimon, Tyrannomon. With its crimson hide and chiseled muscles, the Tyrannomon almost appears to be covered in armor, and his partner is likewise in peak physical condition. The pair are senior debuggers, despite having joined the game following the release, later than Yuki and Winner, who are beta testers. "Okay, guys, how about we check out the mission," says Ryotaro, with his usual enthusiasm. His fierce energy reminded him of one of the comic book hero, which is exactly what he inspired to be. It was clearly infectious, as Yuki thrust her fist near. "Aidi!" Ryotaro gave a cheerful grin back at her. It had taken time a while to realize that this was Yuki's way of saying, "all right." Tyrannomon, however, looked vexed, tilted his head, and asked in a thick, bassy voice, "Why can't you just say all right?" To which Impmon, standing with his hands on his hips at Tyrannomon's knee level, chimed in, "My thoughts exactly." Ryotaro turned his team for his confirmation. "Everyone clear. This mission's nice and simple." "Yep, in short, it's all a roundup, as we say in the Wild West," enthused Yuki. They had just returned from seeing Altea, the lead debugger, and had been delegated to ask the GMs would usually handled had they not been too busy. Under ideal circumstances, however, debuggers do then more than just play the game like everyone else. However, when the GMs are overloaded, the debug team acts as extra pair of hands. There are some real lowlifes we're dealing with, cheating just to get that prize. Tyrannomon's angry words provoked firm nods from the others. The task assigned to Ryotaro and Co. is to deal with a sinister group of players. Though known as the debugging team for a while, their modus operandi had recently come to light. The issue concerned a series of minor weekend tournaments held in Digimon Liberator. For comparison, the real-world equivalent in terms of scale would be a local tournament such as the Sword Tournament. These tournaments are structured into multiple blocks and offer a prize for winning or even just competing. Regular in-game items are among these, but if you make it to the final rounds, you can sometimes get extra special like promotional card with limited availability. Impmon was equally ruffled. Blackmailing players through cheats is just pathetic. Blackmail was just the word. The perpetrators were a group of around 30 who had been entering the tournaments with little success. What they did succeed in, however, was identifying each block's winner. They would set up meetings with these players and usually use their cheating tool, restrict their ability to log out. That would corner them and offer to remove the restriction in exchange for handing over the prize. More frightening was that the cheat tool could shut off all means of in-game communication. It was therefore blackmail in more than one sense. Players couldn't send mail, nor use voice chat, or even go to the GM's support player in the central district of Jewel. Naturally, the tool had no power in the real world. Players duly turned to the IDEA customer support center, and the resulting flood of complaints caught the admin team's attention. However, the group's misdeeds did not stop the bounds of the virtual world. Once they had attained the prizes, they could go onto real-world social media and offer them for lucrative prices. The preferred form of payment seemed to be alt art chips, and with the huge amount they were obtaining, they were plenty to share around the whole group. Even average players had become aware of the situation, and it was starting to affect tournament numbers. A vicious circle in the offing. "I can't stand seeing them get away with this." Visibly outraged, Tyrannomon turned his head skywards and let out a little burst of fire, a short sigh. "Wouldn't it be best just to change how the tournaments are run, given different prizes or something?" replied Impmon, his eyes listlessly following the flames trail. "If you don't change something, in the fun will be spoiled. The problem here isn't the prizes. But now that you mention it, what would you want them to be? What would you want them to be?" Impmon quizzed Yuki. But her partner's response was unenthusiastic as ever. "I'm not going to rack my brain to answer that. Chances of you winning a tournament are 0 after all." Yuki hit back. Did you just say, please put me back in the D storage? Ha! Unluckily for you, that's not possible in the garden," scoffed Impmon. Say what? Okay, guys, how about we calm down a little bit? With Yuki and Itmon growing increasingly rowdy, Ryotaro decided to nip a potential quarrel in the bud. He always strove to keep a level head, as all grown adults should. Stating his policy, I know you've got fire, but keep it inside for now. We need to stay cool. Says the guy always acting so fired up, commented his partner amusedly. That's nice of you to say, Tyrannomon, replied Ryotaro with an appreciative chuckle. There you go again, only hearing what you want to hear. Even when rebuking me, your words always improve my mood. You really are the ultimate partner, a constant boost to my motivation. It was the way back when we first met. Back then, you were just a static illustration on the packaging of a portable LCD screen toy. I thought you were awesome even then, and now I have you besides me, in the flesh and as my partner to boot. Who'd have thought such a dream come true situation was possible? It makes me insanely grateful to be a Digimon Liberator player, and remember the Debug team at that. Ryotaro shook his head. There have been cases, but almost every time the cheater was found out and banned straight away, he explained. Most cheating tools had been developed through the tampering with D-storage, which was transferred from the real world into the virtual. These are obviously to Tails admins because they use custom firmware, which the system immediately recognizes irregular OS. He continued, this time though, we don't know how they implemented the cheat, and so we don't know how they brought it into the game. There were no clues. All they had to go on was the complaints from players. It was just unnerving to say the least. Had the group somehow accessed the internal system and rewrote the codes their tool was deemed legitimate? Just what kind of cheat allowed you to prevent players from logging out or using the report function? Worst of all, there wasn't a shred of proof of a tool having been used, aside from those players' word. This was far graver from any run-of-the-mill cheat. Could there be a bug even? So to sum it up, we don't even have evidence that they've done wrong. Now that is a problem. Without evidence, there's not really anything we can do, is there? Guess not. They'll just shrug off and deny it all. Yuki and Itmon accurately summed up the situation, and Ryotaro could only agree with them. They won't just come clean, that's one thing for sure. The perpetrators knew what they were doing was wrong, yet would surely claim innocence all the same. Tyrannomon wanted action. If you are certain of that, then what to do you suggest we do? However, Ryotaro was giving nothing concrete anyway yet. If their lips are sealed, we'll have to loosen them. Of course, what I'm asking is how. I have a plan. Nice. Ryotaro loved the phrase, and having directed the conversation and built up the tension so, he delivered with an aplomb. Oh wait, let's hear it, Ryu. Having captured Yuki's curiosity, he smirked slightly, paying no mind to the exasperated head shaking from Itmon and Tyrannomon. Remember, there was a store tournament a week back. Yes, I do. Same thing went down. The winner was cornered, blocked from logging out, and forced to give up the prize. Right, and that's what led us to being assigned to this mission. Since that player got a picture of the name of someone involved, so now it's on to us to end this reign of terror before things reach Alpha and Omega levels of gnarly. Alpha and Omega levels of gnarly. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, just a little phrase Mom taught me. That doesn't answer my question. With Yuki perplexing Itmon again, Ryotaro tried to get the conversation moving forward. Basically, she means it would be as bad as it gets. And free language lesson for you, Alpha and Omega represent beginning and the end in ancient Greek. The lesson fell on deaf ears. He expected as much. Okay, but I don't actually care, scoffed Itmon. Okay, guys, we need to get back on topic. Now, what do you think they did once they got their hands on the prize? Asked Ryotaro, turning to Yuki. I heard already. They posted a trade offer on social networks, seeking all art chips, and a lot of them. You'd have to get 10 secret parallels, I think. That's right, and I agreed to the offer. You, what, huh? Really? The three others expressed their disbelief and then fell silent. No one knew what to say next. Seeing their puzzled expression, he calmly reiterated, what they're to be confused about. I saw their trade offer online, and I said yes before anyone else. Blindly bright sunlight in the lit area, It was even more intense from the reflections of the vast sandy coastline, stone buildings and incessantly lapping waves. Rain never felt on Lapis Marine, nor did any clouds ever cover the skies, and that's why people called it the ever-sunny seascape. It's probably the most serene spot in all of Lacuna and attracts more tourists than any other. Ryuto was as much of a fan as anyone, and having to come here on this mission bothered him, of all places to meet these crooks. After succeeding in his bid for the prize item, he had been told to collect it at the base of the Lapis Stadium Tower, and it was an audacious choice for a meeting place, given that this is where the tournament had been held. Doesn't this rackle you, Tyrannomon? Why did this such lush area have to be staged for disgusting behavior? The thought made Ryoto's guts churn. Don't get so worked up. Our mission would be the same, wherever it was. That was a fair point. As for the said mission, there were two other pairs of team, Yuki and Itmon, plus Winner and Fumbimon. Winner's role was especially critical. He would be the one to make initial contact with the perpetrators. He had volunteered and had set up for a Lapis Marine before everyone else. Ryoto thought it would be too much to handle for a young kid, but Winner out-argued him. That's a weird... Okay. If you go, I can just see there'll be problems. On the other hand, they'll be sure to let their guards down with me since I'm a kid, so I insist. It was a bit of a pitiful to have no counter-argument, but Ryotaro accepted that he wasn't suited for the task. I know my strengths and weaknesses, and that's why I never fail. Though tenured in years, Winner had a good head on his shoulders, better than mine, and always been a reliable debugger, so I'll trust in him. Yuki and Itmon are also positioned close by. Ryu, I forgot to mention SBmon's message earlier with a warning, said Tyrannomon. Is that right, partner? What was it? If they try to run, we can't let them go towards Lapis Stadium Tower. That would have raised an eyebrow, but Tyrannomon explained immediately. They're going to test the guy who took down the rampaging NPC, see if he's cut out to be a debugger. They don't want any interference. Roger that. Tyrannomon, besides, I'm sure we'll get them before it comes to that. Between Winner, Yuki, and me, we've got all the bases covered. Is that they're testing Shoto? Between Winner, Yuki, and me, we've got all the bases covered. Nothing more dampens your enthusiasm, does it? And I suppose if it doesn't end up as a chase, I'm more than big enough to block the way. All right then. Nothing left but to wait. Just another few minutes until the arranged time. To be safe, maybe I ought to recheck the area for possible escape routes. Just as he started scanning his surroundings, Ryoto heard a low-key alert from his hip. It was D-Storage. Ryoto's reaction was immediate. He checked the sender. Winner. Probably the crooks have shown up then. Yuki, Ryu, they saw I'm a kid and it looks like they're planning to take advantage. There are a lot of them, more than 10. Please come ASAP. You have to be kidding me. What would be the point of bringing the whole group just to make a trade? It would make no sense whatsoever. They would only do that if, realizing the situation wasn't good, Ryoto chastised himself. I should have been the one to go. I knew it from the start. Of course, Winter would look like an easy target compared to me. He'd obviously have more spare time, plus they assumed from the offer that he had tons of alt chips. Still, he couldn't believe it. His body shook with rage as he tried to process just how low these people were. It's easy to forget since he's a fellow debugger, but Winter is only 11. And besides, Digimon Liberator is just a game. Realistic as it is VR, not actual reality. The whole point is to enjoy ourselves. That goes especially for young players. To Ryotaro, this happiness was a sacred thing that he struggled to believe in anyone would trample upon. What happened to knowing my weakness? What happened to never failing, man? What a joke. Winner volunteered, sure, but I gave the green light. What a clown I feel right now. This isn't how I'm supposed to do things. It's the opposite of what a superhero would have done. His self-direct rage was far from subsiding when his partner called out, Save the reflection for later, Ryo. Okay, we better get moving. Time to make amends. We got this, partner. Oh, he looks a lot older. Sunglasses. They've come to a central part of the Lapis Marine urban area. Proceeding down an alley, they arrived at the nondescript plaza with no resident NPCs nor notable architecture. It's simply a backwater part of town one would think of coming to. But they've come, and now Winner, Yuki, and Ryu have found themselves surrounded by a group of men. The team's partner, Digimon, were on standby in their D-storage. As was reported, the group numbered over a dozen. One of them delivered a put-down, so what if you're debuggers? Anything special about you compared to ordinary players? Nope. Your whole under operation is pretty foolish, seeing as there's nothing to investigate, chimed in another. And the mocking continued. Unless you have evidence to the contrary. Yeah, I didn't think so. The group appeared far from being hazed by Ryotaro revealing who they were still persisted. You're right, we're just ordinary players, but we'll still see that you're punished. Oh, please, just like we told you, nothing we've done is against the rules. Ryotaro wasn't having it. They really won't see any sense, huh? Not liking where this was going, Winner slowly held up a hand to indicate his disagreement. Don't forget that we agreed to do a trade. We would have grounds to report you for fraud if you don't give us the item. Haven't given us the alt ships yet, though, have they, Aruba? One of the group turned back to address the bespectacled man wearing a suit, who had the unmistakable air of a full-time office worker. He couldn't have been far from Ryotaro's age. Now that he looked at all of them, they were all youngsters except for Aruba. He was sure the leader. Aruba answered, No, they haven't. Aside from that, let's assume that you do work for the admins. Might that not be an issue if it emerged that there were undercover investigators posing as ordinary players? In fact, I think it would create quite the scandal. Hold on. Knew that they wouldn't lie down and roll over. So they think they can get away scot-free by taking advantage of our position. That leaves one option. Say, Aruba, why don't we settle this like a card gamers should? The only scandal here will be rapidly that cockiness of yours vanishes once I beat you. Let's have ourselves a blazing hot battle, why don't we? The next part. All right. Oh, where are we? As you wish, the man in suit, Aruba, gave irritated shrug as he accepted the challenge. We'll stop what we're doing if you win, and you can even go ahead and ban us, or whatever you wish. This sent a ripple shock through his group. Some weren't sure whether he was serious, while others tried to make see sense. What was the point of taking such a risk? However, he quieted them with a wave of his hand, and went on. If I win, I'll be posting about your pathetic undercover operations online, and I may exaggerate a few details, but nothing too major. Only enough to ensure a scandal and prevent you from showing your face in Lacuna ever again. There was a short silence before the group broke into cheers. These losers are done for. No way that guy can beat Aruba. How stupid can you get? They couldn't just apologized. The jeering went on, and some even readied cameras to snap a mention of the debuggers' imminent humiliation. Amid this, Ryotaro was addressed by a voice from his D-storage. You'll need to be careful, Ryu, said Tyrannomon, just as Aruba's battle request had popped up in his partner's menu. There's no reason for him to accept this. Either he's extremely confident or he has something up his sleeve. That much I realize, replied Ryotaro, his determined tone making it clear that no more need to be said. What's going to be then? Do you agree to my conditions, or have you gotten scared? Asked Aruba. I'm the one who requested that battle. Like I'm going to back down, said Ryotaro. And then thrusting a raised thumb, he declared, You're on. Aruba made an amused expression that seemed to say, and so it begins. The stakes here couldn't be any higher. Ugh. That's actually not as comfortable as I thought it would be. Damn, you really got me cornered, said Ryotaro. I thought you were up for a fight. Not becoming of a wannabe superhero to be so down in the dumps, is it? Responded Aruba, clearly in the ascendancy. His voice was calm, but he looked uncomfortable as he loosened his tie, gazing up at the blazing lapis marine sun. Ryotaro felt a different kind of discomfort as he scanned his hand and his battle area turned, searching for solutions. He was down 2 security guards with 4 cards in play, 2 Digimon, 1 each in the battle area and breeding area, plus 2 of his tamer cards. Aruba, meanwhile, had 3 Digimon. Each of them was cause for concern. Two were cherubic Lucimon, but they weren't Ryota's biggest problem. Besides that stood a Digimon who utterly dominated the field with serene, beguiling beauty. One of the seven great demon lords. This ultimate entity was said to be have rebelled against God, aligned with the morning star, possessing both holy and demonic aspects. Lucimon Chaos Mode. So BT18. Interesting. With an aptly named Dead or Alive effect, which activated on play and when digivolving, forced the opponent to either delete a Digimon or tamer or trash top security. Aruba was delighted, however very rich. Someone who's obviously a delusional Digimon lover, opting to sacrifice an ally rather than take a hit himself, and even still, my Lucimon has you down to just 2 security. You're a Rio, began Ryotaro, but his comeback was cut short by a low voice from his battle air. Keep it cool, Ryu. No need to get riled up. A call from a calm came from Ryota's partner, but it wasn't the usual Tyrannomon. Instead, there was a Digimon who had mastered many more battles, proven by numerous scars, notably across the eye, and the intense hue of its ashen hide. Master Tyrannomon. Master Tyrannomon. You made the right decision. There's no way you could let him recover, was there? Master Tyrannomon was right in choosing to trash the security card. Would have left Aruba added a card to a security stack with Lucimon's recovery effect. That would have made winning harder for Ryutaro, since his deck relied on wiping out the opponent's security with a swift onslaught. You did that because you know the threat posed by your opponent and what you have to do to win. Your judgment is solid, and that's why we're willing to put our lives on the line for you, continued Master Tyrannomon, its words backed up by a reassuring nod from Tyrannomon in the breeding area. Okay, guys, have no fear. I'm about to kick ass just like always, enthused Ryotaro, nodding back. But first, I need to stop getting my own high handed to me. Just not my style. So what we go on the counter-offensive, partner? You got it, growled Master Tyrannomon, homing on Aruba's security stack. I'm attacking, so activate my Tamer's effect. Master Tyrannomon evolves. Oh, this is such a good moment. I did the Tyrannomon in the shorts earlier. So our main phase of Ramona has a Digimon Game 1 memory. With one of your Digimon with Tyrannomon and its name taxed by suspending this tamer, that Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon card with Tyrannomon's name or a dinosaur trait in its hand with a digital evolution cost reduced by 1. I thought this would be Zenith's partner, like he would have Tyrannomon. The effect in question can be activated when a player attacks with a Digimon that has Tyrannomon in its name and allows Tyrannomon or a dinosaur Digimon to digivolve a card with a cost cut by 1. The sands of Lapis Marine were dyed glowing crimson, and as a flaming pair across Master Tyrannomon stood. And then, imperiously clawed its way out of the pillar, emerged an enormous dinosaur, Dynamon. This guy's pretty cool. Its stony body emitted waves of heat, and the very air shimmered as if melting. Raising its fist armored with fury plating, it gave the impression of a waking volcano as it roared. This roar summoned a searing shockwave, and a Lucimon was struck and deleted. This was Dynamon's wind digivolving effect. To top everything off, the new digivolved Digimon had security attack +1, and so it took down 2 security, leaving Aruba with 3. Or dinosaur. Oh, Dino. Wait, is. Oh my. 4-2. You may suspend. On play, when digivolving, you may suspend one Digimon, then delete one of your opponent's Digimon. I know with the lowest DP opponent's turn, while this Digimon is suspended, all of your opponent's Digimon can only attack suspended Digimon. Oh my god, this thing is cool. Great at looking epic as always, Dynamon. Now don't think any of this for show. What you see is the result of my long quest for ultimate strength. As the two continued their casual conversation, Aruba sighed disgruntledly. Well, I'm sweating, but only from the heat. Another big body changes nothing. Now, Lucimon. To start off his turn, Ryuba activate Lucimon's effect, discarding a card to force Ryu to decide between trashing one of his own security or letting Aruba recover. I choose to trash a security card, he declared, this time with no hesitation. You what? Shocked Aruba. Similarly, Yuki had been intently following every move, let out a gasp. For Ryu, Ryutu? You seem insistent on keeping your security, even sacrificing the Digimon. Aren't you worried about being attacked directly? Ryuto shrugged this off. No sweat, I know my partner's got this. And then it revealed another Dynamon's effect. While it's suspended, all opposing Digimon must target a suspended Digimon when attacking. Though down to only one security, this high DP wall ensures Ryutomon won't be attacked. In Boden, he issued a provocation. Hope you had fun playing God, Aruba, because now I'm turning up the heat. What you've got? Frowning, Aruba looked at his monolithic new combatant, and then cast his eyes downward. As I said, one extra big body changes nothing, he said, giving a wicked smile and letting out a callous laugh. It's time to Digivolve, Lucimon. You have no further need of these white wings, responded. Lucimon Chaos Mode went down onto its knees. Holy demonic ceased to be in balance, and with the gathering light particles, it turned to a monstrosity, huge abyssal black dragon. Above its head flowed several crowns, signifying that its status surpassed even the demon lords. This was the Dragon of Revelation. Lucimon Satan Mode. The two monstrous reptiles in the battle area are faced off, but ultimately they did not clash. Lucimon Satan Mode played from Aruba's trash to the breeding area, and thus deleted opposing Digimon. Daimon was struck by Genya, the abyssal dragon's diabolic orb. It's raised its armor, fist, and resistance, but to no avail. The hellish flame's force was too great. Silence reigned until Aruba could no longer contain his delight. His stuttering laugh of mockery grew louder until he was in full flow. Wah! You must have thought you had me. You bet everything on that Digimon, now it's no more. Truly a sorry sight. Ryotaro made no response as his opponents bent backward in derisive pose and continued with increasingly childish remarks. Just so you know, you irritated me from the start. Your whole hero act, even though you were only some random player, give me a break, would you? What, and let you get away with all that bad things you've done? As you could pin down us anyway, with zero evidence, and even if we were forced from Liberator, there's no sort of a shortage of childish games that we could go and do the same thing. Leaving the loudest laugh for last, Aruba then pointed judgingly at Ryotaro. You're going to lose either way, but I want you to realize concepts like justice and evil are simply nonsense. These words finally drew a reaction from the downcast Ryotaro. He looked up and gave his adversary a sharp glare. Something to say? Glaring won't win you the battle, said Aruba, somewhat flustered. I have to hand it to you, said Ryotaro, narrowing his eyes before bursting into a genuine smile. You're one tough opponent. What? Aruba practically shook, hardly be able to believe his ears. I assume you cheated since you had no shot in those tournaments, but you've shown me beyond doubt you have skills. Now I'm even more pumped up. What babble is this? Sorry to say, you were close but no cigar. Ryotaro gave a mischievous grin as he explained. That's certainly a nice effect your Lucimon has. Must have felt good to force those choices on me. But if a tamer lets go his ego swell, it never ends well. Just then, Ginma Saitama's hands began to radiate, and from inside burst forth an arm. It was the scorching dinosaur emerging as if from flames of hell itself. Grrr! Genma shattered and Dynamon came back roaring into the battle area, courteous of its fortitude effect. Oh, okay. Deleting Dynamon doesn't get rid of it, explained Ryotaro. That doesn't mean it makes much sense, commented Yuki. Undeterred, he continued. And what's more, it raises hell when it revives. Dynamon activated the same on-play effect from there, this time Satan Mode as the target. However, Ruba had a failsafe. Grr, I hope I use Lucimon's effect, sending it to the battle area and stopping deletion of my Satan Mode. He had kept Satan Mode in play by the skin of his teeth, yet this was more than just a defensive play. Aruba spoke again, in a combative tone that hinted he'd recover the path of victor, or at least wanted to appear as if he had. I'll teach you to get cocky. Now for Lucimon's end of turn effect. Ryotaro was stripped of another security card, and yet, big deal, he said, not appearing phased in the slightest. Aruba surely thought he would have his opponents on the ropes, but he was more than but he was met with more fighting words. Okay, guys, no more defense. We're going to have to go in fist flying. Beginning his turn, Ryotaro declared his opening 1-2 punch. I moved Tyrannomon from the breeding area to the battle area and attack with Tamer card. I evolved into Master Tyrannomon. On play, when digivolving, you may suspend one Digimon. Then, if this Digimon is suspended, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. Effect, he said. And he wasn't done yet. With this effect of my other Tyrannomon card, I digivolve once more. What was moments ago a Tyrannomon now was a Dynamon, all thanks to the cost-reducing effect ability of Ryotaro's Tamer card. I then deleted your suspended Lucimon with my wind digivolving effect. What? Really? Faced with two bellowing Dynamon, the situation was dawning on Aruba, and he scratched his head furiously. Taking into account the effect from Dynamon's Digivolution card, there would be 3 security checks, Ryotaro informed. Gosh, strike back, Lucimon! The Dragon of Revelation appeared from security confronting Dynamon. It appeared insurmountable with 16,000 DP. However, we need to account for Tyrannomon's start of main phase effect, which boosts Dynamon's DP from 13,000 to 16,000. And then there's another 2,000 from its Digivolution card's effects. That adds up to 18,000. Follow with Reptile. End the battle when playing with... Okay. No, this doesn't mean I'll lose, sorry, Aruba. We'll be getting through unscathed. Wait there. Aruba looked on blankly as his revelatory card faded. He cast a fixed gaze at his hand, then turned frivolously to his trash, and then back. Perhaps he believed there was something that he could save him, but there was not. Lucimon, he sighed, staring at Chaos Mode card in his hand. For a second, it seemed to have given him a censuring smirk, showing its disappointment in the tamer who was about to be brought to justice for his misdeeds. As Aruba let his card slip from his hand, Ryotaro had some final words for his deflated opponent. You know, Aruba, you have a point. Justice and evil make nonsense, maybe nonsense. So there are times when you have to follow your gut and accept there are right and wrong. You call Liberator childish, and yeah, lots of kids do play it. With this, Ryotaro thought back to his own adventures with Digimon as a boy. But all of that's more reason for the adult players to set right examples. So come on, partner. Let's show we're heroes. They're the villains. Having returned from Hellfire with fortitude, Dynamon gave confirmation before going in for the finisher. All right, Ryo. Then the dinosaur inner fire was so intense as it dyed its stony hide crimson. Justice prevails, declared Ryotaro, just as the final attack landed. We're freezing and counting and those of the other main members. For the others, it varies. It's mostly severe warnings and tournament suspensions. It was bedlam after Ryotaro's victory over Aruba. Having reported to the GMs and retained their requisite in-game permissions, the debuggers set rounding up the group of wrongdoers, with Winter and Yuki much quicker to get the hang of the steps involved. The man of the moment found himself sidelined. Okay, guys, what can I say? I'm no spring chicken. Might as well let you handle them. It was just Aruba he had taken care of. Already detained, he showed no emotion as he was informed of his punishment. So you had the GMs transfer you their powers. Not much chance of escaping from that, I suppose. Still, it would never have occurred to me that you'd used a battle to buy time. That wasn't the idea at all, said Ryotaro. Anyway, you were free to refuse. As I said, what you debuggers are doing irritates me, said a glowering Aruba. I suppose your whole hero act when you just as you've wanted, although it's just as childish as this game. Not responding, Ryotaro pressed some buttons on his D-storage, after which a little electric beep came from Aruba's. You messaged me? This is a spare Liberator account of mine. I won't need it, so use it as you like. Play some online battles, if it strikes the moods. But why would you? Before the flustered Aruba could finish, he was offered a hand by Ryotaro. This was an intense match, and I'd like another. You've got to admit, games can be a blast when you put your soul into them. Seemingly perplexed, Aruba gave a tut and then looked aside. I had enough of your nonsense, and just go away already, he said. Sure thing, let's go again any time, replied Ryotaro. And with that, he made his way back to Tyrannomon and the others. Well, Tyrannomon, I bet that must have tuckered you out still. We've come all the way to the coast. So let's take a little swim, said Ryotaro. Not a bad idea, but it turns out that Ryotaro gave a curious grunt as he turned face where his partner's claw was pointing. It was Winner, speaking to someone on his device. He promptly closed it as he noticed the two. Thanks for the hard work, Ryotaro. Unfortunately, we've been summoned by the GMs, he said, coolly. Don't tell me that means, Ryotaro asked. They're not happy how we carried out the investigation, to say the least, reported Winner. God, no way. Tyrannomon looked bemused as his partner seethed in frustration. Looking up to the sky with his hands on his head, although Ryotaro is usually so unreliable, his Digimon knowledge really second to none. I don't disagree with you there. Darn straight. And then when going gets tough, his whole hero thing is actively quite convincing. Ryotaro had been praised quite highly by his teammates during the battle, but let's not share that just right now. And so with these breeze cooling in its battle-worn body, the Crimson Dinosaur looked back over another day in Lacuna. Alright, that wasn't bad. Time for the next chapter. Abundant nature, neat rows of buildings, and a pleasant sunlight shining through the gaps. This is Emerald Coast, the invasive forest city. Taking its name from the sheer volume of vegetation, virtually a sea of greenery, this area today welcomes two visitors, a woman and a Digimon, who have traveled here through a portal. The woman is dressed casually in jeans, we're getting two people, but her long legs and attractive, well-proportioned face catch the eye. Although her outfit lends a mature look, she gives off a gentle and friendly impression. With faint eyeliner and curly long dyed hair, jade green. A perfect match for her surroundings. Her name is Suzuin Kazuki. Her style is neither showy or flashy, but something about her refined appearance implied that she is no ordinary person. By her side stands Frigimon, a Digimon with a plain and simple appearance. That say, a name often matches nature, and Frigimon's bear-like ears and snowman bodies do give a frigid impression. What really catches the eye is its size. Suzune was not especially short, but Frigimon was 3 times the size of her. Individual Digimon can vary, it's true, but few Frigimon were this big. Testifying to this, almost all players passing by would stop for a moment to give them, well, mostly Frigimon a curious look. Yep, you sure do stand out, says Suzune. That's why I asked if you ought to stay in your D storage, replied Frigimon. Who said it's a bad thing? It's kind of cool being the center of attention. You really are a show-off, aren't you, Suzune? Suzune. I don't understand you rich people. When Frigimon pointed this out, Suzune lightly brushed her hair back and with her left hand, and the ring on her ring finger glinted in the light. I mean, my husband's the one with the money, not me. But I guess I can't deny that I like the attention. You don't know exactly either, though, right? I suppose you're right. Hee hee. Drawn in by Frigimon's laugh, Suzune laughed too, her eyes narrowing into the little curves. Huh. I don't think I should be acting like this at my age, she said. You're not old enough to say things like that, said Frigimon. Though already married, she was still only 25. The reminded that her youth wasn't yet over yet. Her comfort yet over gave her comfort. Now then, enough of indulging in the attention. Time to get to work. Unknown to the surrounding players, Suzune Kuzuke was a member of the support game from behind the scenes, the Debug team. Ugh. Now that they were at the edge of town, away from the hustle and bustle, Suzune made her usual request while rubbing her ankle. Without a word, Frigimon lifted her onto its left shoulder and started walking slowly. Thanks. It wasn't that her feet hurt or she was tired. It was a metaverse environment after all. It didn't track fatigue or provide physical tiredness feedback. But the young woman liked the view from on Frigimon's shoulder. Compared to the usual ground level banality, it was a whole different perspective on things. And even if she fell, there was no need to worry about getting injured. She asked Frigimon for a ride whenever they went investigating, simply for the joy of it. But it had its benefits too. Frigimon's long legs also enabled them to cover a lot more distance on the hunt. Hold on. Oh, she's fairly pretty. Okay. I mean to ask you before, do you act this spoiled with everyone? No way. If I let others see this side of me, they'd look down on me, wouldn't they? I'm only like this in front of my husband and you, Frigimon. Oh, and my mom back home, replied Suzune. Well, don't you have it good? In fact, Suzune felt so comfortable and relaxed around her Digimon partner that it was almost like being back at her family home. Part of that was down to Frigimon's personality, but equally something about Frigimon's huge size made Suzune want to act childish and helpless. How many times had she thought about ordering a giant cushion shaped like Frigimon since she started this job? Her husband's salary was nothing to sneeze at. You could safely say that they were wealthy, but Suzune had decided she wanted to contribute some income of her own. She... Ugh. All right. She wanted to work while she's still able, so that no matter what happened, they would always be okay. The job had stressful moments for sure, but having the ever-understanding Frigimon as her partner helped to no end. So what was the mission again? Search this area for a stray Digimon, was it? Suzune gave her partner a small nod. That's right, said Suzune. A little while ago, there was a report of a regular player fighting off an NPC that had gone rogue. Suzune was referring to the recent appearance of rampaging NPCs around the Emerald Coast. Fortunately, it wasn't public knowledge, but with an ordinary player defeating a rogue NPC, a new problem had arisen. So in other words, the Digimon the player defeated is now on the loose, right? Frigimon concluded. Recent investigations had confirmed that wild Digimon were invading the bodies of NPCs and causing them to go berserk. So as the Frigimon had said, a wild Digimon that had taken over an NPC before going on the rampage was now back on the loose in Lacuna. Without a card's protection, any Digimon that remained in Lacuna environment it wasn't adapted to would vanish before long. At least that was what the debuggers and the rest of the admin team believed. That's why dealing with the rogue NPC should have been a task for the debug team. After taking the NPC down, the Digimon ought to have been promptly captured and secured. The plan was to send it to the garden. Unfortunately, things had become complicated, and the blame lay squarely with the DMs and the debug team for failing to manage the situation. But that fight between the player and the rogue NPC was some time ago, wasn't it? Said Frigimon. The chances of finding it now aren't great. Indeed, the amount of time a wild Digimon could move through Lacuna was limited to a few hours. A few days at most likely a chance to secure had it passed. But we should still be able to make it, said Suzune. How do you know that? For two reasons, Suzune continued. There's no hint or bluster behind her quick and confident declaration. Reason number one, Suzune raised her index finger of her right hand. We have eyewitnesses' accounts. Other players who saw the fight with the rogue NPC reported to the GMs. The logs include mentions of a Digimon running off without a human companion within the Emerald Coast. Players unaware of the true situation are reported as a graphical bug, and descriptions of the Digimon match the type that invaded the NPC and caused it to go rogue. Reason number 2, Suzune raised a second finger. Apparently a Digimon that is hacked into the NPC can survive longer than Lacuna than one that hasn't. Wild Digimon invading the bodies of NPCs because of their survival instincts. They use the body of the NPC as a kind of protective suit, but at the cost of losing their sense of self, causing them to go berserk. Once they had lost that protection, their instinct is to search for a new place to hide. After infiltrating a host, the Digimon becomes aware that possessing an NPC would cause it to go berserk and gain a small amount of environmental resistance. So when they regain their sense of self with the new knowledge, the Digimon doesn't make the same mistake twice, explains Suzune. We've confirmed that such a Digimon with increased environmental resistance also has an enhanced hacking ability. It seems that they hide inside objects within the game world instead. Meaning like grass, trees, and whatnot, asked Frigimon? Right, said Suzune. It was a very recent discovery. Somebody had entered a dense thicket of bamboo at the edge of the Emerald Coast region and had discovered a wild Digimon hiding inside. Saying it felt silly, Digimon hiding inside inanimate objects. But after this discovery, there was undeniable evidence that it was possible. Well, Suzune continued, they can hide, but not forever. It allows them to survive for a few more months, though. Compared to hiding in an NPC's body, where they can at least move about, being locked inside an inanimate object must feel extremely uncomfortable for a Digimon. Yes, it has extended their lifespan, but they could do nothing but sit there until their data faded away. But Suzune believed there was still time. Based on that fact, we still have a chance to find the escaped Blukomon. As long as it's hopping from one object to another, said Suzune. Ah. Heartened, Frigimon gave out the usual slightly languid laugh. They found Blukomon soon after. It was only a few hundred meters away, as the crow flies from where it had originally been spotted. Suzune and Frigimon spotted it, hiding in an area of dense vegetation, collapsed with its hand outstretched, probably after trying to enter into the game object. From the short distance it was able to travel, it seemed like Blukomon didn't have much time left. Thank goodness, sighed Suzune. Indeed, agreed Frigimon. They both gave a sigh of relief, and Suzune jumped down from Frigimon's shoulder. She then immediately set a blank card in her D-storage to provide the needed protection. Ugh, man, a lot of reading. Blank card, standby. Novel emblem, on. Digimon capture, execute. The screen on her D-storage lit up with an intense glow. The light enveloped the Digimon, and just a few months later, the previous blank card showed an image of Blukomon on the front. Now all she needed to do was transfer it to the garden, and the mission would be complete. The very moment she extended her finger to confirm the transfer, Suzune heard a shrill cry behind her. Even without looking, she could tell it was a young girl's voice. It wasn't a voice she had heard before, so it couldn't be a teammate. Upon turning around, her suspicions were confirmed. A young girl with short hair was standing there, dressed in a school uniform with a blazer. A high school girl. No, maybe even a middle schooler. At her side was a level 3 Digimon, Devimon. Suzune was confident that she had memorized all the names and faces of the Debug teams. There was something still elementary in school, but even none of them had a Devimon as a companion. Hold up, shouted the girl. Don't interrupt our quest. Yeah, shouted the Devimon. We found that Blukomon before you did. I was just about to capture it for myself, cried the girl. Cutting in line when somebody else is on a quest is no fair. Ain't that right, Reina? That's right, give it back. The girl called Reina and the Demi. Hold on. Just in case. Okay. Hissed Reina. These casuals who only logged in once in a while have no love for the game. Reina, listen, she probably was a busy businesswoman climbing the career ladder, looking for a breather between long days at the office, reasoned Devimon. She has that kind of air about her. She's not going to love the game as much as you, okay? A businesswoman climbing the career ladder, said Reina. It's so cool, but thank you for all the hard work you put into every day. Besides, this quest isn't public. It's still testing, Devimon reminded her. Remind her of what it said in the pop-up message. It's probably just a coincidence there that they're here. I think it's best to negotiate peacefully. You may be right, Reina considered. Okay, let's negotiate, Miss Haggard hard worker. You two don't know the meaning of matters, do you? Said Suzune. Although I'm not entirely sure if I'm being insulted or complimented. The pair were proving to be more difficult than they looked, but even confronted with such impoliteness, Suzune resolved to maintain a professional air. She tried to collect herself. The girl and her Digimon were looking to negotiate. They probably wanted her to hand over the Bluecommon card, but negotiations aside, Suzune needed to know more about that quest. That's where she needed to move the conversation. This quest of yours, Suzune began. Were you asked to capture this Bluecommon? What do you think, Devi? Asked Reina. Shall we tell her? If you want somebody to show their cards, you need to reveal something of your own first, Devimon advised. That's the basic rule of negotiating, Reina. I see, said the girl. Yes, our mission was to capture a wild Bluecommon. A little honesty goes a long way, added to that girl's age and charm, and Suzune found her heart softening a little, just as Devimon predicted. But the situation was serious. This is no time for cute games, Suzune said Frigimon. Don't you think? Yes, agreed. Quite right. The two exchanged a glance. Something definitely wasn't right. As mentioned earlier, the presence of wild Digimon within Digimon Liberator was not public knowledge. Most of the players who had encountered them had dismissed them as graphic bugs, and now that was end of it, and securing wild Digimon, or put another way, capturing them, was a task for the Debug team. And the details were kept strictly confidential. But Reina had used those exact words, that she was to capture a wild Bluecommon. Reina, wasn't it? Suzune asked how you were going to capture the Digimon. I was going to use this, Reina, said Reina. It was added to my inventory when I accepted the quest on the initial quest screen. She held a blank card that resembled the one Suzune had used to secure the Bluecommon, but there was one clear difference from the blank cards that Suzune was used to. The girl's card was black. Suzune had never seen or heard of such an item. Also, if she was telling the truth, someone with admin access must have personally assigned her the quest. I want to check it out. Once I clear the quest, I'll be rewarded with a ton of alt art chips. I wanted to keep them all for myself, but what do you say to an even split? The alt art chips that Reina was talking about were in short consumable items that let you increase the rarity of cards. It isn't hard to get your hands on a couple of chips, but they aren't that many floating around, and a high number are required to actually be useful in-game. That makes them a pretty effective bargaining chip. Suzune could clearly see the bait. She didn't feel it was a trap set by Reina. More likely, whoever had issued the quest in the first place was behind it. Alt-art chips were definitely a good way to reel in normal players to do your bidding. Suzune's suspicion was rising by the second. A black blank card, a huge reward of alt chips, an ominous vision of somebody infiltrating the admin team and pulling strings in the shadow rose in Suzune's mind. Who could be? What was their goal? Reina, this isn't a negotiation, right? Asked Suzune. Sure it is, said Reina. Shall we seal the deal? Don't be in such a hurry, said Suzune. If we're negotiating, then let me lay out some conditions as well. Suzune had been thinking of a mission just another typical debug team. But now a keen, clueless player had... Let's do it, Suzune, said Frigimon. Yep, this time rooting for corruption out at the source. And with that, Suzune took out her D-Surge and pointed directly at Reina. Let's battle, Reina, said Suzune. If you win, I'll give you this card for free. This time it was Suzune who spoke without a pause, not leaving Reina and Devimon a chance to interrupt. But if I win, I'll have you join me for tea. All right. Tea, asked a puzzled Reina. Make it of what you will, said Suzune. What I mean is, if I win, I want a few moments of your time. Is that all? Then no problem, said Reina, holding out her D-Storage with a self-confident grin. Because I'm gonna win. Sorry about that. I like a kid who's got some spirit, said Suzune. Let's enjoy this. Like I said, you're not gonna enjoy anything because I'm gonna win. They confirmed the settings for a friendly battle and activated the memory gauge. There was a palpable tension in the air, but only for a brief moment. A moment later, the voice of Frigimon, who didn't care for much for all the drama, rang out from inside Suzune's D-Surge. "Oh yeah, Suzune." "What's the matter?" said Frigimon. Said Suzune. "You're kind of ruined a moment. I just got word of a new guest." "By guest, you mean the Bluecomon we just secured?" "Yeah, that's right. He wants to try fighting alongside you." "Oh my, okay." A look of slight surprise appeared on Suzune's face. Her mission was to secure and protect the Bluecomon, but from its point of view, it must have seemed more likely suddenly being tied up or kidnapped. If it wanted to fight alongside her, that could only mean one thing. "You mean to say it's testing me?" said Suzune. "Maybe," said Frigimon, "but that's hardly going to get your nerves up, is it?" "Of course not." "That's absolutely fine," declared Suzune. "Oh, good," said a relieved Frigimon. "I thought you'd say, so I went ahead and added Bluecomon to your deck. Your deck hit list has changed a bit. Hopefully it's okay with that." "At least you told me in advance, I guess," said Suzune, as she laid out her security stack, all while trying to rapidly recall the details of Bluecomon's card. "Goddess from the Ice Age." "Hold up," cried Reyna. "That's not fair." "Have I done something wrong?" questioned Suzune. Suzune tilted her head in surprise as Reyna waved her arms around as if she'd done wrong. "Don't play dumb with me. That Digimon we're about to capture, it isn't it?" shouted Reyna, pointing to a figure at Suzune's breeding area. There stood a dragonkin Digimon cloaked in a hail pale of freezing breath and banging together its icy talons, crisp Paildramon. "You're right, it's a Digivolution of Bluecomon," Suzune replied. "I'm the one who secured it, though. But we went and decided who it belonged to." "That's unfair," cried Reyna. "I see, it's not only my security stack you're trying to tag, it's my emotions as well. You're an ice deck user, and you clearly have Heart of Ice, too." "Nothing of the sort," replied Suzune. As far as she was concerned, the wild Digimon didn't belong to either of them, but since Reyna didn't know the details of the situation, explained that it would only make things more complicated. Ugh. Besides, her attention needed to be elsewhere. The crisp Paildramon in her breeding area had been throwing impatient glances towards her for a while. Now it was as if it wanted to get into the action as soon as possible. "Patience," requested Suzune, in a tone that was gentle, somehow stern. "It's only the beginning of the battle, the calm before the storm. The perfect moment for you to join the fight will come in time." Suzune's analysis was accurate. Reyna's similarly had no intention of revealing her trump card this early on. They each had 4 cards in their security tag. Apart from Chris Paildron, there was no other Digimon in Suzune's playing field. Reyna also only had a single Digimon on her side. A previous turn, she had played the King of Undead Digimon, Myotismon. "Ooh, okay." Oh, yeah! Oh, yes, it's Volta Bauta time. Attacking, you may play Nightmare Soldier trait. Your traps about playing the cost. Your turn, when your Digimon are played or Digivolve, and any of them have Nightmare Soldier trait, 2 of your Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Nightmare Soldier trait in the hand. Then that Digimon Digivolve may attack. When attacking by deleting one of the other Digimon, this Digimon is suspense. Reyna had played a level 5 Digimon, pushing the memory gauge way over onto Suzune's size. Was she planning on something big for her next turn as well? If that was the case, Suzune needed to adapt. At the start of her turn, she addressed her partner. "If this is somehow calm before the storm, then we should send out the first storm cloud," said Suzune. "Frigimon?" The next moment, a freezing skin-piercing gust of wind blew forth, and a human shape made of snow formed in the middle of the battle. "No, Polar Bearmon!" As she said this, the humanoid shape, which initially looked like an ordinary snowman, started to attract glowing light particles. A strong flash would reflect around, and placed in the snowman stood Digimon wearing colorful ski wear and shouldering a bazooka. "Leave it to me," said Polar Bearmon. A barrage of ice balls came from the back. This bombard took Reyna's play area, turning the area around Myotismon into a pincushion of sharp icicles. Iceclad. Other than against secure Digimon compared to number on play when Digivolving, trash 2 any 2 Digivolution cards from your opponent's Digimon. Then one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution card can send or activate when Digivolving effects until the end of turn. Your turn when you're... Okay. Okay, we've already read this. Since your -1 doesn't have any Digivolution cards, it won't be able to suspend next turn, nor activate any Wind Digivolving effects. Suzune gave her opponent a Defiant look. So this is a little... Okay. Suzune gave her opponent a Defiant look, as if to say, so what? You'll be doing next. Reina matched your gaze and started right back, laughing furiously. It's no use, lady. If you think you've won, you're more of a rookie than I thought. Then a brief tune, completely out of place battlefield, rang out. It was both lively and creepy, a clown-like melody. Instant later, Polar Bearmon's body was torn apart by a flurry of countless blades. Polar Bearmon, Suzune cried out, surprised, and heard the echoing conch of footsteps. Then came from the wizard that had just carried its high-speed crime and entered the battle area for carrying 4 swords. Piedmont, an ace card at that. On play, 4 times. Another, oh, okay, interesting. All turns when another Digimon delivered by your, play, you may. Since your Digimon had 7,000 DP, unleash Sword's effect with all 4 blades completely destroyed it. What's more, Piedmon also has an effect that lets me bring Meramon, you defeated earlier, back into play. On play when Digivolving FX. And I'm still not done. Your deck's effective, basically. You rely on me having less than 2 Digivolution cards, don't they? In that case, I activate Myosmon's effect. When your Digimon... As Reina said this, Myomon's quietly vanished, leaving the darkness. Digivolution came out. Boltabautamon. Responding to her words, the malevolent fist appeared in the battle area. The 2 Digimon had undergone a DNA Digivolution to create a new Digimon. It was released from the restrictions of Polar Bearmon's effect. Was able to activate its Wind Digivolving effect. Responding to her words, the malevolent fist appeared in the battle area. The 2 Digimon had undergone a DNA Digivolution to create a new Digimon. It was released from the restrictions of the Wind Digivolving effect. Wind Digivolving. Digivolve 3 of your opponent's Digimon, and for the turn, all of their Digimon get minus 6,000 DP. Then if a DNA Digivolving, you may play 10 play cost tests worth of Nightmare Soldier traits from your trash. When other Digimon are deleted, trash your turns when other Digimon are deleted, trash your opponent's top security. The Flame Sorcerer Skull Meramon. Since it was DNA Digivolve, it can attack her straight away. Once per turn by deleting other Digimon, this Digimon suspends. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay. It's called since it was DNA'd, and since now Meramon is deleted, it activates Boltabautomon's effect, turns transfer security. All turns once per turn. Boltabautomon was also aimed to attack Suzune, so 2 layers of her security wind flames. Security check, nothing happens. Take that, I cut right through 2 of your security cards, like that were butter. If we appeared in the abyss, that's what you should expect. Reina flashed a devilish smile, a toothlessly grin. And we don't have the time to be the abyss that peers back into you, so why don't you just hurry up and give up, please? However, as expected, Reina was met by a cool and unruffled reaction from Suzune, and her victorious grin quickly faded. Why do you look so unconcerned? It was now Suzune's turn. She was up against Boltabautomon and Skull Meramon. But despite the state of the battle area and the difference in their security stacks, Suzune seemed to be enjoying herself. Let me tell you one thing, Reina, said Suzune. If you find yourself thinking your opponent is making careless moves, that's the time to be extra careful. What? You took advantage of my move and interrupted it as well, and you made a very powerful counterattack. You unleashed Boltabautomon. Reina's eyes widened, and Suzune flashed her teased smile before turning her eyes to her troops. It's time, lend me your power. Upon hearing these words, the dragon crystal nodded and leapt out of the breeding air. As it did so, it formed, immediately engulfed by a blizzard. It re-emerged as ice-clad magic Hexablaumon. When Digivolving, trash any 4 Digivolution cards on your opponent's Digimon. With one thrust of its ice lance, it sent Boltabautomon Digivolution cards to trash. It was Piedmont, and crucially written onwards letters Ace. Oh no, overflow! As Right as Reina cried out, the memory gauge turned a fierce red and let out a crackling smile sound. The memory gauge moved 4 spaces back towards Suzune. Right then, I'm going to do a few more things. Pull a Baramon! Appeared once again from her hand and slipped the barrier. I prevent your Skull Meramons from suspending and activating window involving effects. Eep lady, you don't know how to hold back, do you? Doing so right after aggressively playing your own would lead to a swift loss for you, wouldn't agree? Reina's Nightmare Soldier deck relied on a single powerful trump card surrounded by other Digimon without Digivolution cards. Suzune's deck was a good match for it since her disruptive effects depended on the other opponents having few Digivolution cards. But still, if she chose the wrong number time to attack, she'd swiftly be overwhelmed by her opponent's numbers. That's why Suzune let Reina cut down Polar Baramon. Let her think that she was controlling the pace of the battle, then if she Digivolved Paimon into Asa into Bolta Baltamon, she could use her Hexablaumon to cause an overflow. That had been Suzune's plan. You pretend to be surprised, but in actual fact you predicted everything, including that I used an ace card. Tee-hee. I was convincing, Suzune. Her hand to the corner of her mouth and giggled. Surely Reina understood her strength. Sweat dripped down the girl's temple. You're one scared later, but the match isn't over yet, Devi. It was Reina's turn. The girl used a small amount of memory available to play your Devimon. Anyway, look at it. Things aren't looking good for you, Reina, said the Digimon. You know people usually say things like that. They're not over yet when their right's about to lose. Alright, that's enough out of you. Now fetch me a card that's turned around. There you go, cards. One with Nightmare Soldier trait and one card with Fallen Angel trait among the hand. Return the rest of the deck bottom. One attacking, trash one card. Draw one. This one's no good. And this one too. There it is! Piedmon Ace. Reina took the third card she drew, Piedmon Ace, and added to her hand. Struck confident pose. Bad luck, lady. Piedmon, Blast Evolve. Next turn, I'm going to tear all your Digimon to shreds. No, I'm afraid it's too late for that, huh? It was time for the next turn. Suzune battle area was snow-scaped a pure white, and someone new was appearing. A beautiful blue marionette stood on the battlefield. On top of that was a small white Digimon. At first, it looked like Yukimi Bokumon, but it had an elegant gaze. There was unmistakable divine to it. It's time to freeze everything to its core. Bullabearmon, Digivolve into Scattymon. Okay. When divulging, you may play one low from your hand without paying ace. For each of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, add this card to maximum. When Digivolving, when attacking once per turn by placing one Digimon with no Digivolution cards at the bottom of security, this Digimon is unsuspended. Okay. Kind of a bit weird. When I'm in my ultimate form, I feel so rejuvenated. I can go ahead and do it, Suzune. Yes, you do. Go ahead. Say that every time, though. When Digivolving, you may play one level 4 Ice Snow Trade Digimon from your hand without playing the cost for each of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards. Add 1 to this effect. Reina, as you have 2 Digimon without Digivolution cards in play, I play a level 4 Frigimon, and when my opponent, it gains 1 memory. Leave it to me, but I'm great at scrimming and saving, said Frigimon. What means, are you still your turn, great, Reina? That's right. So you know what comes next. In response to Suzune's words, Scotty turned to her face opponent. When Digivolving, when attacking once per turn by placing one Digimon with no Digivolution cards at the bottom of security, this Digimon unsuspends. I send your Skull Meramon to your security stack and unsuspend Scottymon. Reina let us slip grasp. With her Skull Meramon gone, Blast Digivolving would no longer be possible. Scottymon had laid out a clear path to victory. If she could attack with Hexablow, then the second attack by the Icy Goddess would strike Reina. So what you think of my strategy? Is it to your liking? Hexablaumon looked back at Suzune and gave her a nod with a hint of satisfaction. To which case she smiled radiantly. In that case, let's settle this. Scottymon, Hexablaumon. Yes. The goddess and the knight charged across the battlefield like a roaring blizzard. Talk all you want of your abyss. Let's show you that the ice at your command is far colder and more beautiful than any darkness. Interesting. There. That's everything. I know, miss. Thank you, Reina. Suzune had won the battle, but the information received from Reina was not welcome news. One day she had received a message about a special request with her handsome reward attached. She had some small doubts, but believed that it was because it looked like a genuine message from the admin team. The quest contents described stray Digimon wandering around Lacuna that need to be captured as it was done some kind of story event. I'm sorry, I don't think this will help much, miss. In response to the panic in Reina's voice, Suzune allowed her serious expression to soften in a warm smile. No, Reina, that's not the case. In fact, your honesty has been very helpful. If any case, miss, you can do anything. Hey, what, what's calling me miss all of a sudden? Does that offend you? No, but that's right. I still haven't told you my name. Here, think is my business card, Suzune said Suzune as she handed Reina her tamer card. When you play or digivolve, if you have spending this tamer trash. My name is Suzune Katsuki. A pleasure to meet you. Where have heard the name before? Perhaps you were one of the Digimon Liberator official live broadcasts. They work quite closely with my husband. What? Did she know that Kozuki was the name of a surnamed key member of Liberator team? Reina continued to shout. No, you're one of the admins? Me? No, not as such. I just help out here and there. But the Digimon you captured today, was that a job requested by the Reina? Suzune put a finger to her lips to say that this to say between us. Reina gave her a timid nod. She returned to it with a smile. That was that. Thank you, Reina. I'm sure I'll see you around at Lacuna, elsewhere in Digimon Liberator. Reina watched intently as Suzune climbed onto Frigimon's shoulder, and the two of them departed, gliding towards off smoothly into the distance. Yes, Miss Kazuki, Miss Suzune. Using normal players not down stray Digimon, so that's what they're up to. That's right. I'd be really grateful if you kept an eye out as well, Yuki. They were jeweled the cat bell. Suzune was telling her teammates Yuki the whole story from start to finish. Looks like today was going to be one overly energetic girl after another for Suzune. Yes, I got a report to this GM, right? Yes, is Cool Boy around? Yeah. Saw him just now. He's over there chatting with Unchained. She looked at the direction that Yuki was pointing. There stood an immaculate-looking man with white hair. Cool Boy, talking about something with a blonde girl wearing a straight jacket, although it might look like I've been a boy. That was Unchained. Cool Boy had a very stern look on his face. So it was clear that they were having guarded and serious discussion. Shall we call them over? No, leave them be. They looked in the middle of something, said Suzune. She paused for a moment. Yuki? Yes? Keep that story I just told you to yourself for now. Don't tell anyone else, especially Unchained. Sure. Oh, I gotta go. Teacher's calling me. Suzune thanked Yuki and said goodbyes. She watched the small girl as she departed. With her hint of consideration on her face, Frigimon spoke from her D-Search. Susan, that was yes, it was a bit. I can't say I approve of you confiding in an innocent girl like Yuki. There's no other option. I hope it's nothing more than the baseless worries on my part. She thought back to her conversation with Reina in the quest notification disguised an official message from a high-level admin. Had the culprit found an exploit in the system, or was there a far simpler explanation from what had happened? You mean there might be a traitor in our ranks, don't you? You disapprove of my thinking? Quite the opposite. You're just great, Suzune. Frigimon clumsily patted Suzune on the head and with a ball-like hand, wise item. Thank you, Frigimon. We're done without you. Don't worry, you got me on your side. Don't take me much, I'll be careful now, at least. Suzune muttered under her breath as if she felt the cool touch of her partner's warm gesture. To be continued. Hold on, okay, I think this is gonna be... Hold on. Maybe that's her, I guess, the Chained Unchained? Alright. Characters. Alright. Ryuta Williams. 027. Okay. Deeply involved. Okay, Agumon Master Turn. Struggles with intellect types who don't speak straightforward and will hide behind Ritsu when you're around. It struggles with... Okay. Oh, I'll prove that. 25. um, um, she's, oh man, she would be a great VTuber. Oh, Penmon, okay. As far unfailing cheerfulness and joy, his presence on the debugging team helps her. Oh, that's a very cute, good artwork. Okay. All right, time to. Oh, this is some good artwork. Time to go to the Digimon Encyclopedia. Look at that. Okay. Polar Bearmon. Ice type Digimon from snow areas that digivolved into absorbing data related to winter sports. It has the ability to create tools made of ice and typically makes skis and ski poles to freely slide around. Polar Bearmon enters the territories of Digimon such as Myojimon and Hyugamon as it skis around and frequently causes trouble. It also digs dens with ice pick, builds snow forts to secure a place to live. Polar Bearmon frequently small country called Thermaline, taking up the role of construct shelter from other Digimon. Polar Bearmon turns the barrels of its guns towards the ground and uses them jetpacks. Then kicks with skies/target corkscrew move. With renewed gunnery, Polar Bearmon pummels the foe with a violent barrage of bazooka snowballs. Alright, this is a kind of cool design. Scottymon. Okay. An ice snow Digimon that rolls over Thermaline, a small snow country somewhere in the mountains. This Digimon appears to be a large snowman, but most of its body akin to a powered exoskeleton made of ice. Scottymon is in fact the small fairy inside the snow globe of the head of the armor. A gentle snow always falls inside the globe, but amidst its fury, battle grows into a blizzard. So fierce that Scottymon's true form cannot be seen. Thermaline is this, where Digimon from frigid regions rest inside. It's surrounded by ice in the shape of snow globe. The same kind of ice wall that makes up the globe of Scottymon's head, like say from the country, protects the country's inhabitants from invaders. Scottymon's snow water special move, it summons a giant snow hand to beat down enemy. Its snowman dance move, it shoots myriad snowman shaped missiles as it targets ice skates. And Scottymon reaches the peak of its wrath. Its snow globe head finally breaks, releasing a snow slide that envelops the enemy, raging avalanche attack. Although the snow globe on its head easily regenerates, exposing its true form to danger is done last resort. Okay, we might be seeing its true form. Alright, let's go to, alright, Dinomon. What is, this is, oh, it's vaccine? Oh, okay, I think that kind of makes sense. Dinomon. Okay. Dinomon is the principle of long-awaited battle dinosaur Digimon. The Mega Digimon has awakened its ancient power, visible through the glowing of its body. Dinomon boasts incredible stamina and strength, overwhelming its enemy with power as the battle heats up. The battle scales covering its body turn flaming red, and Dinomon is able to use the energy with X more efficiently. It's said that when Dinomon pulls out all the stops in a fight, the entire battle area will be reduced to ash and magma. After a battle, Dinomon is accustomed of submerging its overheated body into the sea to cool it off. That's Godzilla, as it produces large amounts of steam. Nearby, Digimon recognizes it as a sign of Dinomon's victory. However, Dinomon never allows its fighting spirit to run out of control. Its intelligence, backed up by its composure, and is able to tactfully pursue its prey, further aiding to the reasons why Dinomon is so feared. In Dinomon's Burning Head special move, it brings down the enemy Ash Lady Claws in its Dino Breath move, slightly released from the body surface and dorsal fins, incinerating everything in its waves of super intense heat. pretty cool. All right. All right. Let's see bigger images. We don't have updated to that. He's pretty cool. I think he's probably my favorite. Although the Frigimon Mega is pretty interesting. I'm gonna sub it here. My voice is hurting, and I need to do some other things. So I'll see you guys later. Hopefully, you guys have a wonderful stream, and make sure to catch the replay.